What's up guys, it's Ninazor here. Today we're a review for you guys of the Ninja case from YourPoetic. Now YourPoetic can be checked out at YourPoetic.com. I'll have a link for that in the description down below in case you guys want to go check it out. And I'll have a link for this case, or you guys can just check out the case or whatever you want to do. But anyway, this is a Ninja case. It's called the Ninja and it's a $20 case, comes in black and white, and it's for the iPhone 5. There is an iPhone 4 and 4S version, but right now I'm just reviewing the iPhone 5 version. And yeah, so as I said, it's $20. It's already looking pretty cool. And that's basically it for the intro of this video. Thank you so much for YourPoetic for sending it out to me. Let's get into the review. For me, the main selling point of this case was the 3 cutouts on the front. This is a folio style case, so you have a front flap, and then you can pull that back, and then you'll have your regular phone screen. So when you have this front flap on, you have 2 cutouts. You can see the time and the date, and you can also see the slide to unlock or the slide to answer. So on the top over there, you can see you have cutouts for your camera, your proximity sensor, and your speaker. So when you want to answer a call, you don't have to fully expose your iPhone screen. You can just answer the call by sliding on the bottom cutout, and then you can talk because your speaker is still there and your microphone is on the bottom, so you can still talk and hear what the person's saying without fully exposing your phone screen, which is a pretty cool thing, and I'd say that's a pretty useful feature. Also, if you're a regular person and you like to look at your phone screen for the time when you don't have a watch on your hand, you can just look at your phone screen without having to fully expose your phone screen. So say for example you take your phone out of your pocket and then you just want to know the time by turning the phone on. If you by accident drop your phone, you're possibly going to scratch your screen if you don't have this case. If you have this case though, you'll be able to look at the time, and if you drop your phone, your screen is going to be fine because you still have this front flap on it. This front flap is also magnetized, so there are no problems there when it comes to having it snap back into place, which is also a bonus. So with this case, as you probably already realized, you get lay on the table design even when you're not wearing the front flap on the front of your iPhone. So even if you're not going to be covering your iPhone all the time, if you take that front cover and push it back, you're still going to have lay on the table design, which will allow you to protect your screen no matter what. So you don't really need a screen protector with this case, because even if you drop it face first when the cover is open, you'll still be able to have full protection for your screen. Now that's not saying any drop damage protection, but I'm just saying that if you drop it on a flat surface from a height of maybe 5 feet, you're not going to have any damage because your phone is not going to actually touch the ground. So that's a really good feature that I do like about this case. While wearing this case, I did experience a slight problem with the volume rocker. It was kind of hard to get your finger to be able to select the buttons individually. Now, if you put enough pressure and you hit the buttons hard enough, you definitely get the solid click. But because of the flap and because of the way the case is made, it just does not create a very comfortable feel, and it's kind of hard to get your finger to press the buttons individually, so it does take a couple of tries, and I definitely wasn't too happy with that. Since this case is so protective, the material it's made out of covers the entire home button. So it's a very rigid material, and this causes the home button to not register your clicks as often because the material covering it is so rigid that it doesn't allow your finger to press it as easily as it would without this case, so it's a little bit harder to press the home button. With this case, you will be able to use your standard Apple headphone jack. Even the new one, the old ones, they generally speaking all fit. There's no worries there, so this 3.5mm headphone jack will work fine with the Apple headphones, so no worries there. If you own a pair of headphones with a 90-degree headphone jack, those will work also, so headphones like Beats and these headphones that I'm using right now, the Beacon Orions, they will work with this case. As you can probably already tell, there's a huge cutout on the bottom of this case for all your ports and connectors and all that. So your lightning connector, your headphone jack, and your speakers all have the necessary cutouts, so you have no problems there. With this case, you will be able to use your on-off sleep-wake button very easily, no problems there, so that's always a good thing. Although the camera cutout on this case is rather small, you do not experience any flash problems, and the camera cutout is large enough to accommodate for the actual camera itself, the microphone, and the flash, so you have no problems there. Even if you think it might be too small, the cutout is working fine, so it might be cutting it close, but it's fine. So when you're normally using your phone, you could be surfing the web or browsing through Facebook or playing games. So you can fold this flap back so it's not in your way. But if you want to take a video or a photo, you can't do that because then the back camera will be just looking at pure blackness, and that's not much of a video or a photo if you ask me. So what you have to do is you have to take your second hand, be it your left or your right hand, and you have to hold the flap away from the phone, which is kind of annoying. So in the next part, I'll be doing a drop test. So I'll drop the phone a couple of times, and then afterwards, I'll show you what the aftermath is. And I'm already thinking there's not going to be much damage because this case is relatively protective. I'm going to be dropping the phone from about my waist, and I'm 5'3", so that's going to be around 3 feet. So if I drop it from around my waist, that's generally speaking where most people are going to drop it from. And hopefully there is not a lot of damage. So let's go drop an iPhone. So right there you can see that this case is taking quite a deal of damage. You're generally speaking not going to be dropping your phone 4 times in a row, but the screen has no damage to it whatsoever, and it's still recording, phone's still working, and the back of it doesn't appear to have any damage, so it's all good. So right here I'll just show you some things you could use this front flap for. So you can already tell that you can see the time, but if someone's calling you, instead of seeing this slide to unlock, you're going to see slide to answer, as you probably already know. So you can just slide to answer, and then you'll be able to talk to the person and not have to expose your phone screen, which in my opinion is pretty cool. And that's going to protect your phone in the long run. One thing I would like though is if they could cut maybe a little bit lower from where you can see the time so that you could see maybe 1 or 2 notifications, because I would like to see at least if I have a message or something like that, but it's not completely necessary. So for 20 bucks, this is a pretty cool case. And in the case world, 20 bucks is not that much to pay for a case, considering that you have cases from big companies like Body Glove and OtterBox and Spec, which go from ranges of $30 to $50 and upwards sometimes. So 20 bucks is not that much to ask. So it's a pretty cool case in my opinion, and I definitely do like the idea of being able to see the most important things on your lock screen without having to fully expose your screen. It definitely does work, and I definitely do like it. Now, I did experience some times where I really did not enjoy that. Sometimes I just get annoyed at it, and I would just try to rip the cover off because it just got annoying sometimes, especially when trying to film things. The cover just gets in the way a lot of the times. After you're done with the lock screen, sure, you've unlocked your phone, but what do you do now? You don't need that flap in your way anymore, and it kind of gets annoying flapping around, and it just annoys me sometimes. Now, you could get used to it. I got used to it after about a week, but it's annoying sometimes when you have this flap just waving around, and it sometimes gets annoying. Otherwise, I do like the case. It's made of TPU, so it's very protective. I only experienced some slight problems with the home button and the volume rocker, but otherwise you can get them to work. And the magnetic enclosure does help. You can snap it back into place and it automatically goes back in, and that is pretty cool, and I did like that. And the windows for viewing your slide to unlock and slide to answer in the time, they were actually pretty useful, and honestly, I think they were slightly necessary, but in the long run, I think they weren't that necessary, because honestly, this case already has lay on the table design, so you don't really need this front cover. I would understand if there was a case that didn't have any lay on the table design, but right now, this case is fine without the cover. You can still protect your screen because there's a lip over the screen either way without the cover on. So honestly, this does not really need those 2 cutouts and the front flap, but I guess it's just one of those things that make this case stand out and unique. It also comes in white, so if you want that color, you can go ahead and get it. But otherwise, I think it's a pretty cool case. I gave it a 7 out of 10 stars just because the flap did get annoying, and I did experience some problems with the home button and the volume rocker, but overall, it was a pretty solid case. I actually took this into a cornfield and dropped it several times. It was a corn maze, and I dropped it several times, no damage. It just got a little bit dirty, cleaned it off, and it was fine, but it's a pretty cool case. I do like it a lot, and thank you so much for YourPoetic for sending it out to me. It's a great case, and I do like it. And yeah, I'll have links for that in the description down below. Thanks so much for the people at YourPoetic for sending this out to me. Check me out on Twitter. I'm at Dinazor, and that's basically it. Rate, comment, and subscribe.